Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure sharing with you. This is me speaking from the other side of your screen. And in this lecture, we are going to talk a little bit about GNSS networks. This is the outline of the presentation. And let me start with an overview about geodetic infrastructure. Nowadays, the geodesy has been enhanced by the UN resolution about the GGRF. So the GGRF is the goal for the modern geodesy. In this sense, geometry, gravity, and rotation of the Earth can precisely be determined through observation and estimation processes, which depend of the existence of the geodetic infrastructure. So we can define a geodetic infrastructure like a set of elements that facilitate the proper utilization of the geodetic reference frame for technical and scientific purposes. We have, by one hand, an administrative infrastructure. We are not to talk about this. And in the other side, we have a physical or tangible component of the geodetic infrastructure. In this sense, we have the instrumentation for data acquisition, data centers, data analysis, human resources, etc., etc. The general idea here is the proper operation of this component enable the continuous observation and modeling of geodetic parameters. So any geodetic infrastructure has a physical or tangible component, an observational array. This is the network itself. And the network are deployed at national or continental levels, ideally with interconnection to the ITRF. The ITRF provide uniformity and interoperability for geospatial data acquisition and processing. So each country has been responsible for establishing its own geodetic infrastructure, always under the principle of the best possible effort. And the global techniques or geodetic techniques like GNSS is the more effective for these purposes. Taking into consideration that geodetic networks are an essential part of any geodetic infrastructure, the geodetic network can be defined as a set of physically materialized control points interconnected through geodetic observations, whose purpose is to provide a reference frame for determining relevant geodetic parameters. Any technical or scientific task, since construction surveying or satellite orbit determination, needs an accurate set of fiducial coordinates, and they are provided by the geodetic network. This network can be classified from various points of view. One of them is the type of geodetic observation employed for subsequent fiducial position calculation. This includes, for example, the old or classical network for horizontal control, the triangulation, trilateration, and traversing. The vertical control network for here the geodetic leveling is used. And in this group, we can include the gravimetric networks. Here, maybe you remember, or one of you remember these beauties, old-fashioned geodetic instrument. And we have here an example of geodetic network, classical geodetic network in South America, triangulation network covering all the subcontinent, and a national triangulation network in the case of Venezuela, the first order triangulation in Venezuela. When the array of points is observed using spatial or satellite techniques, such as VLVI, laser, DORIS, or GNSS, so we have a modern network or simply a satellite-based network. Based on this kind of network began to be useful for geodesy in the 60s, when the transition from the old-fashioned geodesy and modern geodesy began. Based on the spatial coverage, the modern geodetic network can be classified in global, regional, or national, and local. Here in the picture, I try to illustrate the type of coverage. No? So this is referential values only. For example, in a global network, the separation between the points, between the station, may be 100 kilometers. For regional and national, 30 kilometers, 100 kilometers, more or less, and local one, 10 kilometers or less. The local ones are a network useful for surveying and engineering tasks. The point here is that GNSS is the most effective techniques for establishing this kind of network, thinking in the access to the ITRF. Regional and local geodetic network are based on GNSS. And according to this, the occupation regime define another kind of network, of GNSS network, in the classification, I mean. The passive one, the continuous, or active network. Here we have a little description of passive networks. They are established for a specific epoch, introducing the reference frame for applications that do not require modeling the temporal variations in the coordinate. Some detail and important detail related to the observation campaign and the analysis must be efficiently planned. Today, the coverage is primarily local, and under certain conditions and needs, this can be reoccupied, yielding episodic solutions. Here we have an example of that. The Venezuelan passive network recommends three materialization, and the principal disadvantage here, each materialization is aligned to different ITRF solutions. Okay, we have now the other kind of network, GNSS network, the continuous one. In this case, these are arrayed with a permanent observation regime after its establishment, enabling the monitoring and control of temporal variation in relevant geodetic parameters, not only coordinates or velocities, maybe tropospheric parameters or satellite clock or station clock, whatever. Their coverage can be global, regional, or even local, and they represent right now the best option for building modern geodetic infrastructure. We have here in the slide an example of continental one. This is Sirgascon network, and here national one, the Ramsac network in Argentina. Continuously operating network, GNSS continuously operating network. And the third, here's the global network of the IGS. 500 more or less stations worldwide. Worldwide, yeah. And here we have the third case of GNSS network, the active one. This is a special case of continuous network where stations are capable of transmitting real-time differential correction for positioning, requiring, I think, a greater operational complexity compared to the continuous network. RTK solutions like VRS, FKP, MAX, RTK based on NA32 benefit directly from this kind of control network. This is an example of an active network, the SAPOS in Germany. Oh, sorry, the SAPOS in Germany. Okay, but passive, continuously, or active network need to be establishment and even densified. So geodetic network establishment is directly associated with the physical materialization and its mathematical solution. The first one is understood as a monumentation of the geodetic station, and the latter correspond to the availability of accurate coordinate under spatial under temporal variation. To fulfill this condition, three well-defined stages must be performed: the design, the observation, and the adjustment of the network. Obviously, there is technical and economic issues as well as human resources supplies that we need to consider. The variable involved in the establishment, like network geometry, the occupation regime, the quality of the determination, etc., need to be evaluated according to optimization principles. But the most important aspect here is ensuring the consistent alignment to the ITRF. All networks, modern network, GNSS network, need to be aligned to the ITRF. So in this regard, there is a hierarchization of the geodetic network. First, we have the highest level accuracy in the network. This is the ITRF network. So we have regional, national densification and the local one, and the accurate must be enough to satisfy any application of positioning and navigation, etc., etc. Okay, so Essentially, depending on the accuracy of the coordinate of the vertices of the stations, and along with the territorial coverage, the array is classified within a specific hierarchical level. I mean, okay, let me, okay. So, other network belongs to a specific hierarchical level or class when it's determined from an immediately or superior class. Here, an example. Look at this. We have, for example, a network, ITRF network, for GNSS. We need to densify. The densify imply to put more points inside the network, this red triangle here. We need to execute observations and processing strategies consistent with the definition of the reference system. In this case, the network establishment and the network densification fulfill the hierarchical level according to this illustration I try to explain here. However, the most critical aspect is the ITRF connection. So, establishment maybe could proceed or cannot proceed if we don't take in count these issues associated with the establishment. Okay, at the 90s, the old networks were replaced by passive networks by GPS, and the passive network were replaced with a continuously operating network. And in the Sirgas region, we have here the first materialization, and the second one not only was a densification of the Sirgas, also an extension to Central and North America. The passive network here were replaced by continuously operating network. And this is part of the evolution, and this is part of the establishment and densification processes. By the way, the continuous network were increasing the number of stations too, and this is the same situation worldwide. In the case of the Sirgas region, at 90s, we had only 82 GPS stations. Right now, we have more than 500 more or less station. The Sirgascon network is comprised by national contribution. I mean, every country in the region has a national network, and this network is aligned to the ITRF through Sirgascon network. If the geodetic control based on GNSS is a densification of the ITRF, another important task is the maintenance of the network, sorry, of the network, because it's imperative to guarantee the quality of the coordinates. And we know the effects of secular and seasonal and sporadic events on the coordinate. The degradation of the network is caused by this kind of effects. In this case, the network maintenance is mandatory. This is an example why we need to perform or to execute maintenance of the network. Hydrological effects, seasonal one, tectonics. This is secular one, and an earthquake. No, this is a sporadic one effect. So the degradation in the coordinate quality is evident here. So why the network maintenance? We need to ensure the long-term stability of the network and the homogeneous consistency of the network. Every time thinking about the ITRF, the maintenance of the network requires permanent processing. So the maintenance of the network needs rigorous estimation processing, following some modeling and standard guidelines. Is a change, very complex indeed. But I'm not going to read this, but for answering this question, why the network maintenance? Well, because networks need to be establishment densifier for provide this and for support this and for to contribute for this. The maintenance is strictly necessary. And the maintenance of the network have to consider operational and administrative issues. The GNSS network are fundamental component of the geodetic infrastructure, national, continental, and global level. So in practical terms, they provide a service to the users community, and an effective management required for keep the quality of the services. So key elements for an effective management of the network are the basic guarantee the basic condition of the installation site, the functioning of the receiver, antennas, etc. Keep personnel for monitoring the performance of the network in situ or remotely, to have data repositories, to have analysis center, and communication with the user. In this sense, are the government agencies dedicated to the geodesy and cartography the responsible for establishment and maintenance the geodetic network. But there is cases where university or research center, for example, or private sector install their own station, and this is good because we can increment the coverage of the network, and so reinforcement the geodetic control and the reference frame in the country or in the continent or a global scale. Okay, if the geodetic control is based on course station, on continuously station, and we know that various geodetic products derived from the GNSS network are useful for all the society, not only coordinate, I repeat. For example, everyone might think use the delivery service. So there is a coordinate, and this coordinate basically are referred to ITRF. Just a little example. So the effective management guarantee the user, the final user, knows its position, can take the position without a minimal with a minimal error. In this sense, the government agency are responsible, and not only the government agency. University, as I was saying, and research center can be work together in this sense. So, basic condition of the network in the management require a supranational, national agreement and supranational agreement too, commitment for the real cooperation, and follow so standards. In this sense, SIRGAS, I think, is a very good example. SIRGAS, since 1993, has been provided to the region a reliable and accessible ITRF densification. So there are data centers who receive the data, the observation from the station, the national contribution, and we have 11 processing centers that at weekly rate are processing the network, the SIRGASCON network, providing a high quality coordinates. And the combination centers integrated to the analysis center fulfill that requirement. And also one of the benefit of SIRGAS is the development of capabilities in the reference system and frame, and the optimize the use of the geodetic infrastructure. But this is an example to show you that what we can do with cooperation at different level. The communication here is important, not only at technical levels. So to reach an effective management, the standards are recommended. There is another presentation dedicated to the standard. So I'm not going to talk about this, but just for closing remarks, the network based on GNSS define the modern geodetic control, satisfying any application of geospatial information. And in this sense, to fulfill global consistency of geospatial information, the ITRF vinculation is mandatory. So we need to establish and operate and maintenance a geodetic network, And this imply not only technical and logistical issues, also this imply communication and cooperation between all the people on all the organizations related to. Okay, so this is it. In the other presentation, we are going to talk a little bit about the standard, and thank you very much.